Today, I would like to speak about call for a urologist. I guess call for physicians in general. What it entails. And for instance, right now, it's Sunday, and I have this. The pager, the OG pager. And I'm on call, and obviously I'm not in the hospital. How does that work? It's what I'm taking is home call, and what that means is I go and I live my life, and if there are any urological questions, emergencies, then I will be paged. And you're supposed to live like within 30 minutes from the hospital. And I take call Q4, which means roughly 1/4 of the time. So like 25% of the time, I'm on call for the hospital I am at. And I happen to be on call this weekend, so I'm on call from Friday at 6 a.m. until Monday at 6 a.m. And fortunately, my current job has a relatively chiller call. So all Q4s are not created equal. Like some urologists will take call at multiple hospitals at the same time. And that's actually relatively common, and that kind of sucks because you could be having to essentially be in two places at the same time, which I don't love that. I mean, even with my current call, it's very normal for a surgeon on call to be on call, for instance, while in the operating room or while being in clinic. So, for instance, I was on call starting Friday morning, right? And on Friday, I was in the operating room. I did 4 cases that on Friday. And you're in the middle of a surgery, and you are also on call, meaning if there's a urologic emergency that presented to the emergency room, I am the one responsible. I am who they would call, and I would even have to manage communicating with the emergency room physician while performing surgery, which is not ideal. I don't like it. I prefer to, when I'm operating, to be like, this is my only task. And this was also how we took call in residency, but in residency it's a little different in that you're always working with an attending. So if you're on call as the resident, and then you just peace out from the operating room or from the clinic and take care of it if it's an emergency. More often than not, they're not emergencies, so you just say, okay, I will get to it after I'm finished with what it is I'm doing here. And then that patient waits in the emergency room. And that's definitely contributing to emergency room wait, is waiting for a consulting physician who is on call to come see the patient when they are currently busy with clinic, operating room, or they are at home, like right now. It's Sunday at about almost 1 p.m. and if I get called, I might have to go into the hospital. The other thing I don't like about the call situation is I'm on call until Monday morning at 6 a.m. On Monday morning, I have clinic, or I could be in the operating room. So theoretically, and I do take call at a level 1 trauma center, so if there's like a really bad trauma in the night before, Sunday night tonight, and I don't get any sleep, then it's very possible that I could have to be operating on Monday morning without any sleep, and it's just part of the job. Again, it's not ideal. I don't love it, but it is common. It is very common. This is not rare. Fortunately, the call where I'm at is relatively chill. So I get enough sleep nowadays, unlike in residency when that was not the case. Like in residency, my call was the same schedule, Q4. However, I was taking call at 2 hospitals for both adult and pediatric urology. The other thing about taking call as a resident versus taking call as an attending is that as a resident, you aren't really a person, so you have to come in and evaluate and examine every patient you're called about, essentially. And even if it's like a non-issue and you have to drop a note, you have to make it official, document. However, as an attending, you're able to get away with more. You can say, oh, that's not an emergency, I can come I'll deal with it in the morning. Or people on the phone with you when you call back the page, if you're a resident or versus if you're an attending, it's a very different kind of, you get treated very differently, which is beneficial for me as an attending. And completely, it's a double standard. It truly is a double standard that I currently get to enjoy. So I'm questioned less on the phone, and they're more likely to wait for something that's emergent or urgent before calling me, like in the middle of the night, for instance, whereas in residency, it doesn't matter as much. So yeah, that's my call schedule. That's how home call works.